wait, before I begin, I filmed this entire video, had it imported, and somehow fucking deleted everything. I don't even remember half of what I said. Alright, the video, let's start.
Hey guys, this video was filmed back in the summertime, so if you don't see any Christmas decorations, that's the reason why. I just want to let you know there is a giveaway that started today on my blog, so head over there and like, comment, and subscribe to get extra entries. So go check out that Christmas giveaway, and I hope you enjoy this video. Toodles!
Hi, my name is Emily, and welcome to my channel, Don't Judge Read. So, let's get into it, shall we? So today I want to talk about how to write a book review. Let's say just write a book review, whether good or bad. I think I do a pretty decent job. So I'm just going to tell you my process and how I write a book review. So it's pretty simple. I don't do anything fancy. I don't get like too technical. I like to start off with a process that you kind of learn in any type of leadership class.
Positive, then you're going to go negative, and then you're going to positive.
For me, I start with a tagline. So just kind of an opening. I start with the title, the author, and what I liked about the book. This book was amazing. This book had a lot of good feels. This book it was action-packed. Really, hold on. I'll bring up back. I'm just gonna bring up, so I'm not searching, just something off the top of my head. One of my reviews to go by. So I like to start off. So this is kind of like a screenshot of Goodreads. So if you can see right here, I like to start off kind of like with the tagline. This case, the book is plot twist, who it's by, and this is what I wrote. Was a feel-good read that puts a spin on the normal romance female MC. So this book is actually quite good. It talks a little bit about the body positivity. So the MC is not your normal paper-thin goddess, beautiful creature that, I don't know, was hiding under a rock, has never in her life had a boyfriend in a serious relationship, which is really... So after your tagline, you want to go positive. Then you're going to go negative, and then you're going to go positive. For this here, I went, not my first read by this author, this series, so I have read other books in this series. I'm just going to read what I wrote here. Not my first read by this author, this series, and I'm going to tell you that this is fast becoming one of my favorites of the year. This is a solid mix of entertainment and witty dialogue with body-positive messages that makes the series more than just your run-of-the-mill rom-com. That's kind of like your basic introduction. So then, as you can see here, I linked this to Amazon. Do your reviews in paragraphs, it just makes for easier read. Start with my tagline, kind of like this little catch, something very positive. Then I jumped into the characters. I did give this book a 5 stars, so I didn't have a lot of negative things to say about it. So I jumped in with our characters. At this point here, if say you do have like say this 3-star below and you want to throw in what you feel bother you, this is where you want to put that in. So after your positive reinforcement that yes, this is what I liked about this book, then you can jump into anything negative you had to say, like constructive criticism wise, what bothered you about the book, whether or not you like the female MC or if they have a male MC, whether you can talk about relationships and story structure and all that jazz. A lot of times I'll get books that are unfinished, unpolished, so I actually don't touch on grammar and spelling. Now, if it's a book I paid for, or even if it's free on Amazon, it's being released as a fully published book, I do expect some good spelling and grammar, like we all do. That's when you can comment on that. But if you are getting an advanced reader copy where it's not the final version, you can't really comment on something. So then I just kind of talked about the character. She's a female MC, and I just wrote here, she's a normal female protagonist. For 1, she's plus size. 2, she isn't the so-called natural beauty that makes every man or woman in the room turn their heads. She's a realistic character that fits with what normal women look like and feel. I've seen some stunning women in my life, and never have I seen a goddess-like creature that are portrayed in most romance novels. So reading about a normal, everyday woman made this book more than adorable but real, because no matter what movie and TV and social media want you to believe, the big girl can get the hot guy. I've seen it, and it's about time it's reflected in entertainment. So then I just go on, I talk a bit more about Lindy as a character, then I get into her romantic other, then I close it out. This is when I give it my recommendation, high recommendation, just recommendation, or whether or not I think the book's good. I will link that review in the bottom, just so you can, that's a more of a positive review, like another review that I did last night. that was a 3-star. Kind of mixed feels, didn't quite like it that much, didn't quite love it, but it didn't bother me enough where it would waver to 2-star, but I couldn't quite get it into that 4-star, you know what I'm saying. That was just a little example of one of my reviews. If you are new to this, you want to get into it, I will put a template again in the description below just to give you something to go by. I had a really good video done. See, new to this, don't know what I'm doing. So, anyways. Get that tagline in there. Start on a positive note. Get in there with negatives. If you don't have any negatives, you don't have to put them there. You don't have to put negatives in there if you feel nothing was wrong with the book. Close out on a positive note. Do a conclusion. I like to say overall, I don't like to put in conclusion, it feels like I'm writing an essay. So you can just put in overall, I give this my stamp of approval. I give this book my super high, my recommendation. If you feel like you didn't like the book enough that you want to recommend it, good sentence to use is, even though I didn't quite like this book, give it a try, you may like it. So you're not really tossing the book in people's faces, but at the same time you're not deterring people. Because as a reviewer, what you want in the long run is you want eyes on this book. Especially for me, where I do a lot of reviews for a lot of different authors. I want to promote the book. I want people to see it. I want their work out there, and I want them to make a livelihood at writing books, because
reading is amazing.
If we start deterring people, like new people, from getting into literature, eventually it's going to stop. You don't want that. You want these things to survive, because reading is
Amazing.
At least I think so. So a lot of my reviews I do give that are quite positive. I do a lot of research into the books that I read. I do read the synopsis, I read other people's reviews, I read different variety reviews. I'll read the 4, 5, 3, 2, and 1. I'll go through them all, because a lot of times in the 2 and 1 star, I will see things that whether I don't care about or things that will bother me in the book, and that'll help me decide. A lot of times, especially on Amazon, you can actually read the first chapter of the book before you buy it, which is a great thing to get into, because then you'll know right away if you like the author's writing style or if you like the book. So it's kind of like you watch anime, you do like this 3 episode rule. I don't quite do that. I do a 1 episode rule because I don't have time. You want to read a little bit of it to see if you like it. Back in my early days, when I bought books in abundance, I would look at them and be like, I'm just gonna buy the whole series. And I bought this one book called
Fallen.
Some of you are probably gonna be like, I love that book. I did not like that book. Did I like anything about that book? It was right around the time Twilight was a big thing, and you know what? You put the 2 books side by side, and they could be almost twins. One is about angels, one's about vampires. Swap them around and you got pretty much the same damn story. I actually watched the movie, and the movie's actually better than the book. I actually enjoyed the movie, which is weird as hell. Anyways, I will link at the bottom if you want to check it out. I ended up buying the whole series because I read the synopsis. I actually read the prologue. I should have read further in. The prologue was really good, very captivating, so I'm like, hell yeah, I love this book. It took me 3 months to read the book. 3 months. Yeah. So I got a lot of qualms about the book. I will actually link my review to that book in the description so you can see where my feelings coming for at the time. I was actually quite in my earlier days of reviewing, so probably not following the format that I just showed you that I do now. So yeah, before you do what I did and waste about $50 on books, read that first chapter. So yeah, if you like it enough, you're gonna buy the book. I just want to touch a little bit on negative reviews. I find that if in your heart of hearts you feel like you can't give that book that 3-star and above, then give it the 2-star. Even if you're doing it as an advanced reader copy, reach out to the author or to the PA that sent you this book and tell them why you can't give them that 3-star. If you're doing it for a book tour, a lot of tour companies will say if you can't give that 3-star, change it to whether a guest post or maybe a spotlight, and then post your review afterwards, but contact them. You can discuss with the author why you're giving this book a 2-star, kind of a heads up, so they're not kind of blindsided. Because when you're joining these reviewer teams, you're kind of there to give them good PR, especially for tours. If it's just a book you bought, you can give it whatever the hell you want. Like I said, if you can't give it that 3-star, explain why. Like, just don't say the book was garbage and be done with it. Actually say why you can't give the book that 3 or higher. Whether or not the characters were garbage, I mean, like garbage characters. Mary Sue, everybody was Mary Sue. You can get books where every single person's a Mary Sue and you're like, what the hell is going on here? The plot didn't make sense, it jumped around, the transitions were terrible, writing was too, say, elementary for the target audience. I have read books like that where they were aimed at adults, but I felt like it was written by a preteen giggling in the corner. Just give a good, detailed explanation as to why you didn't get quite in there. And you can actually throw some positives in there. Like, there must have been something in that book you liked, whether or not it was just the cover. You're going to come across books like that. So there's one book I want to talk about. I'm going to have a big rant in my other recordings that I
Deleted.
This one right here. If you haven't read this book, it's quite interesting. Just gonna go into the synopsis. 17-year-old Alice Persephone? Pretty sure it's Persephone. And her mother had spent most of Alice's life on the road, always a step ahead of uncanny bad luck biting at their heels. But when Alice's grandmother, the reclusive author of a book of pitch dark fairy tales, a little tongue-tied, dies alone on her estate, the Hazelwood, Alice learns how bad her luck can really get. Her mother is stolen away by a figure who claims to come from a cruel supernatural world where her grandmother's stories are set. Alice's only lead is a message her mother left behind: stay away from the Hazelwood. Alice has long steered clear of her grandmother's cultish fans, but now she has no choice but ally with her classmate and fairytale superfan, Ellery Finch, who may have his own reasons for wanting to help her. To find her mother, Alice must venture first into Hazelwood and then into a world where her grandmother's tales began and where she might discover why her own story went so wrong. Pretty good synopsis. I really like this book. I don't remember exactly what I gave it. I think it was either a 4 or 5 star. Might have been a 4 star. Only because there were some things in there that did kind of bother me a little bit. But this is one of these books, if you actually look on Goodreads or Amazon, where the reviews are quite split. It's either all or nothing. Either they loved it or they hate it. And you're going to come across a lot of books like these as well. So this one right here, Alice, our protagonist, isn't like your normal protagonist. She's some normal cliches. She's kind of a loner, not very popular. Most YA MCs are like that. They're not popular. They're like the bottom of the barrel. I don't know, some kind of like this weird rags to riches type thing. Most YA books are like that. There's a few I read where it's actually been the popular person that gets all the powers. They're quite interesting. My cat's just running around like crazy. She's a bit dark. Like, she's really dark. She's got some violent stuff going on inside of her head. And you get to understand why she's that way towards the end of the book. I'm going to say about here onwards. So the last little bit of this book is quite interesting. As regards to the ending, nah, you love it or you hate it. I was okay with it. It kind of leaves it open. I'm hoping this is going to be a series. But, oh, sorry. My little baby kitty's there in the corner. So you're going to come across books like that. Well, I liked it. There's some people that got tons of problems with protagonists, and that's why I want to bring this up. Your protagonist makes or break your book. If your protagonist is weak and your other characters are strong, it's going to bring that story down. So this is something you'd want to pull into that review. It's where you're going to see a lot of those 2 to 1 stars. It's a lot of times, it's not so much the story itself, it's the protagonist that brings the story down. So this is where you can learn a lot of whether or not you're going to like this book in those 1 or 2 star reviews. It's not very often I've given 1 star. I'm talking maybe 1 or 2 books in the like 1,000 or so that I've read in my life that I may have given 1 star, and I'm thinking that book is, I can't remember the name, how much I didn't like it. It was dystopian, vampire-ish dystopian. It was good the first half of the book, and then all of a sudden it just went downhill because she met her true love, and a day later they were confessing their undying love for each other. See what I'm saying? So that really put me off. I'm gonna close this video because my battery's dying, but anyways, templates all in the bottom for how to write a review. No more rambles. My name's Emily. I hope you like my video on how to write a pretty decent review. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like what I'm doing. All my social medias are below. Click here for the last video I posted, which is my intro. Hey guys, so my camera completely died, so I'm just gonna end this off on my cell phone. Links in the bottom. Like, comment, subscribe if you like what I'm doing. Always remember to don't judge, read. And I'll see you guys next time.
I think my next video is going to be about authors' do's and don'ts. I'm going to script that one. Hopefully I won't delete anything this time. Anyways, bye. Have a good day. And just for you guys, some little kitty love going to be over here.